Hello guys, welcome to Smart and Messy Situation. Well, I'm I'm up here eating blueberries, frozen blueberries. I am so in love with blueberries. When I was a kid, um, I used to eat a lot of cherries, wild fruit, not your regular cherries, but excuse me, I want a blueberry, but wild cherries, guava. I grew up in South Florida, so there's a lot of fruit that you can just walk out and eat. So my grandma, she had like trees in the back of her yard. She had a garden. She had wild cherries, black cherries, um, lemons, all sorts of fruit, fresh vegetables growing out of the ground. And that's what I ate all day long. We would stay outside all day during the summer. And when we got hungry, we would grab cherries, maybe an orange. Back then, I was not allergic to oranges. And I ate a lot of oranges. Mm. And my other grandma, my step grandma, she had fruit trees in her backyard too. And she had kumquats. I don't see kumquats a lot anymore. What else did we eat? A lot of guavas. We'd just go outside and pick them. And as kids, well, they didn't use all those pesticides back then either. And as a kid, you don't really think about pesticides. You just go pick it off the tree and eat. And I doubt very seriously if they treated things with the pesticides that they use today. And both of my grandmas, my grandma Phoebe and my grandma Eunice, used to grow collards, mustards, what else? Peas, freshly out of the ground. So when the kids played outside, y'all better not come in this house. Shoot, we would get hungry and thirsty. So we would just pick fruit off the tree, get full of the fruit, and keep playing. For real, for real. And right now, to this day, I absolutely love blueberries. I love any kind of berry, actually. And also, when we would walk through the woods when we were a kid, we used to pick these things. Well, they call them snake berries. You do have the real snake berries, but then you have those other ones. I don't know the name of them that you pick in the woods. We used to eat them. So when when we were a kid, we would just play all day long during the summer. You better not come in this house, but you better get there before the street lights go out. So, being a kid, shoot, I get hungry and eat all those wild cherries, all those wild berries, whipping oranges off the tree, mangoes, honey. I love some mangoes. And my granddad used to take me over to my uncle's house who had a big mango tree. I get so full of mangoes and cherries and blackberries. And then when I went over to my step grandma's house, sometimes I'd be scared to go in the backyard because she had dogs. But these are frozen blueberries again. But I would go back in the back. I would pick oranges, kumquat. She had this kumquat tree. Tangy child. Tangy, tangy, tangy. But I would fill up off of them and then go right back to playing. And then if I was at my grandma Eunice's house, who had all these vegetables and fruits and everything, I eat that all day long. The only thing I didn't like, when we had to sit out and we used to, I don't know if you call it shucking peas, but we had to clean the greens, and grandma had this huge metal wash tub where we had to wash collards. We had to like snap beans. Everything was fresh. I think the only time they ever went to the grocery store was to get like maybe flour or something like that. But we even hunted off the land when I stayed with my grandma. I would go over to my Uncle Nay's house, and they would hunt deer. They would hunt wild hog. Everything came off the land. And my aunt, his wife, my Uncle Nay's wife, was full-blooded Native American. She had like chickens in a pen. And up until that time, I had never seen how they prepared chickens. But Aunt Nay, she was fast. She could catch the chicken really fast, grab it, wring it, and then throw it. And then she would clean it, then pluck it, or whatever she'd do when she'd dump it into like the hot boiling water to take the feathers off. Well, they were primitive, but everything came off the land. And excuse me. Let me get another blueberry. But anyway, when they'd get the deer or anything, they would hang it up in a tree, cut it here so it could drain out. And that's pretty much how they do it in Deuteronomy and the Quran and everything, how you are supposed to prepare food before you eat it. And you're not supposed to eat the blood, the blood of the animal. So there was like certain steps they would take in order to clean the animals. And my aunt, the Native American aunt, had a big feast for us. So we were like sitting at this table, and I was sitting with my granddad, Ed. And he said, Red, he used to call me Red. He said, try this. So I'm like eating. I said, oh, it's so good. He said, girl, do you know what you're eating? I said, no. He said, you're eating turtle soup. It was so good. And we had biscuits and everything, but everything was off the land. And then there was like this thing on the table with the legs, like sticking up, all four legs, and it was on his back. And I was like, oh my gosh, are we gonna eat that too? Granddad said, taste this. So I bit it. It was like they had barbecued it. Guess what it was? It was a raccoon. For real. And then there was this like big stew, and I tasted that. It was really good. He said, it's wet. You know what that is? I said, no, Granddad, I don't know what it is. He said, you're eating rattlesnake. And I'm like, oh my gosh, poison. I'm gonna die. He said, no, we defanged it, we melted and chopped the head off. You're eating the good part now. But they used to eat like that. But when I was over Grandma's house, Grandma Eunice, we ate mostly vegetables. That was her style. But my Uncle Nay and my aunts, oh my gosh, they ate mostly like meat and biscuits. They ate off the land. They were gatherers and hunters. I know it sounds primitive, but that's the way they ate. And I think that's why I've been so resilient and maybe so strong coming through as many surgeries as I've come up, they're like, how do you pop right back up? And you're going, probably because how I ate as a kid. And we exercised a lot. We were outside playing all of the time. It wasn't any of that sit around watching TV. My dad didn't let me watch much TV at all, even when I moved in the house with my mom and dad. I was not allowed to watch a lot of TV. We were running up and down the street playing games. If we didn't have, a baseball bat, we'd get a stick and we'd play stick ball, kickball, and we'd have these races up and down the street. But I tell you, it's a whole different world now, a whole different generation, whole different foods. Most of our food has to come from, like, the grocery store. And see, I seek out farmers markets. I love farmers markets. And if I can, I try to grow, even if it's on the inside, I try to grow my own peppers. I try to grow my own herbs, like basil. Whenever I can grow it, I will. I just think it's healthier for you when you grow it yourself. And then you can pretty much watch what you put on it. Like these pesticides they use, oh my gosh. They're too strong for our bodies. So if you can grow it, honey, grow it. If you can go to a farmer's market with really fresh fruit, do it. I'm telling you, it might add years to your life. My mom and dad, they're in their 80s. They grow greens, they grow pineapples, mangoes. Whenever they can eat fresh, they eat fresh, But they're getting older, so a lot of times they'll go to Walmart and find alternatives. But during the season, they grow their own food. Anyway, let me get over here because my blueberries are getting soft and mushy and my fingers are turning purple. See you guys later. Love you.